Animals long gone from our world, or perhaps secretly existing in the frozen corners.
The Ice Age may have ended thousands of years ago, but many of its secrets are just now coming to the surface.
From skeletons buried deep in caves to remains found in the strangest places. Here are the incredible discoveries from the animal world that you need to see.
Oh my goodness.
Giant bones. While walking through a forest that had been burned, a man came across something strange. As he moved through the ashes, he saw bones scattered all over the ground. Some of the bones looked like they belonged to large animals, but others were harder to figure out. There were a few that seemed to be parts of bird skeletons, but many of them he couldn't recognize. He was left wondering what these bones were and how they ended up in the forest. Could there be something more to these remains than meets the eye? Creek bones. While walking along the edge of a quiet creek, a man noticed something unusual. There, scattered at the water's edge, were several giant animal bones. The sight was enough to make him pause and wonder what had happened. Taking out his camera, he decided to record a video of the bones. After capturing the footage, he quickly sent it off to the local authorities, hoping they could make sense of the situation. They soon began their investigation, trying to determine how the animal ended up this way. But despite the authorities' efforts, no one could quite figure out what had happened. They couldn't identify the animal or explain how its bones had ended up in such a strange state. Whale graveyard. This discovery, made in 2010 in the Atacama Desert in Chile, is truly remarkable. Researchers uncovered 40 fossilized whale skeletons in Cerro Balena, perfectly preserved for millions of years. What makes this find even more intriguing is the cause behind it. It appears that the whales were affected by toxins from algal blooms, which led to a sudden disruption in the marine life of the area. This discovery helped highlight Atacama as one of the world's richest fossil sites. Who knows what other ancient secrets are still waiting to be uncovered in this desert? Nanakuli Remains.
Dog maybe on the side of the road where it could have been hit, sure. But when somebody takes a dog and they actually put them inside of a bag.
Have you ever wondered what you might find if you stopped to look closely along a quiet road? In Nanakuli, someone did just that and made an unsettling discovery. Bags full of animal remains were found dumped on the side of the road, behind the concrete barriers along Lualuale Naval Road. While riding horses at a nearby ranch, someone noticed a dog sticking out of a trash bag on the side of the road. The next day, they returned with a family member to see more. What they found was surprising. Multiple bags filled with remains. What could have led to such a discovery, and who would leave it all behind?
Cut them open, looked inside, and a total of dogs we counted were 31 dogs.
Animal bones in cavity.
They have teeth like this, right?
Yeah, I guess.
These group of explorers went to check out an abandoned cave, hoping to find something interesting. As they went deeper inside, they found something they didn't expect. Animal bones were scattered all over the place. The bones looked old, and the explorers wondered how they had ended up there. They looked around carefully, trying to understand what had happened, but they couldn't figure it out. The cave, which they thought was empty, seemed to hold more surprises than they had imagined.
That is very scary.
Giant bird skeleton. While on a random hiking trip, a man stumbled upon something truly unusual. As he explored the area, he came across the eerie bones of what seemed to be a giant bird. The body parts were scattered around, and among them, he found the skull. But this skull didn't look like any bird he had ever seen. It had a strange shape, unlike anything familiar, and it almost seemed to resemble a dragon. Could this be the remains of a flying creature from a time long past? But the body didn't seem too old. So could it be something that still exists today? The mystery of these bones left more questions than answers. strange bones. During a routine flyover, a man noticed something strange on the ground below. As he flew over a rocky area, he spotted scattered animal bones lying in a way that caught his attention. They seemed out of place, and he couldn't quite figure out what they belonged to. The bones were spread out across the same area, but their shape didn't resemble anything he had seen before. Maybe they were from a giant lizard, or perhaps some large bird, but nothing quite added up. It was a mystery that intrigued him, and even after several attempts to identify the creature, the answer remained unclear. The bones continued to spark curiosity, leaving everyone who heard about them wondering what kind of animal they could have come from. Unidentified skeleton.
Here's its skull with its teeth, bottom jaws.
As a man was walking through the woods behind his house, he came across something unusual. Among the trees, he noticed strange remains of an animal he couldn't quite make sense of. The creature had an odd head, sharp teeth, and a long body with a bit of fur scattered across it. It wasn't anything he recognized, and he found himself wondering if it could be some kind of creature from another time or place. Whatever it was, it definitely didn't belong to the typical animals that roamed these woods. The more he looked, the more questions it raised, leaving him to wonder what could have caused such a strange sight.
And these paddle-looking bone things on the front.
40,000 years frozen horse.
Она совершенно уникальная, она полностью сохранилась без никаких видимых внешних повреждений.
What if the past could be uncovered from the ice? This footage has emerged of a perfectly preserved horse, frozen in Siberian ice for around 40,000 years. This foal belonged to the extinct Lena horse, a species unlike the horses we know today. Found in the permafrost of Yakutia, the foal's skin, hair, hooves, and tail are all remarkably intact, offering a rare glimpse into the past. Local residents first discovered it in the Barageika crater, known as the gateway to the underworld. Researchers are now studying the foal to learn more about how it lived and what it ate, unlocking secrets of a distant time preserved in the Siberian wilderness. Strange skeleton. Hiking in the mountains took a strange turn for this man who stumbled upon something he did not imagine. As he moved along a quiet trail, he noticed what looked like a skeleton lying on the ground. At first, he thought it might just be a branch or a piece of dried wood. But when he got closer, he saw it was actually the remains of some kind of animal. The skeleton had a long, stretched-out shape, which made him wonder if it could be a snake. Yet the way the bones were arranged didn't look quite like anything he could recognize. So what could it be? Giant skeletons.
And skeletons that measured between 7 and 8 feet in height, which, for ancient man, would have been rather significant.
Do you believe in giants? I didn't, until I came across this discovery. In 1911, miners digging for bat guano near Lovelock Lake in Nevada stumbled upon something surprising. They found human remains, some of which were over 10 feet tall. Even more fascinating, some of these remains were mummified and had red hair. According to local Paiute legends, there were red-haired giants called the Site Ka, who are said to have come to the Americas from a distant island thousands of years ago. While no one really knows who they were, some experts think their large size could have been due to gigantism or other medical conditions. Others suggest cultural or burial practices may have affected how the remains looked.
One of the strange things about the discoveries in Lovelock Cave is that the skeletons were often found with red hair.
Bony structure. This man was taking a calm walk through the woods when he came across a strange spot. In this quiet corner, there were piles of animal bones scattered around, all gathered in one place. The sight was odd, and he wondered why so many bones were here. It almost looked as if they had been arranged on purpose, which made him think, was this part of some unusual practice, or was there another reason behind it? Without touching anything, he decided it was best to move on and continued his walk, leaving the strange sight behind. Deer remains.
This
cranium. Oh yeah, it's a baby. Listen to the cranium is soft.
While exploring the woods behind his hometown, this man came across something unexpected. As he walked through the trees, he spotted some bones lying on the ground, with bits of fur still attached. The sight made him stop, unsure of what he'd found, so he decided to call the authorities to check it out. When they arrived, they carefully looked over the bones and soon confirmed it was a deer. With that answer, he felt a bit more at ease, but as he walked away, he couldn't help but wonder what had happened to that deer, and why had he found it in such an unusual place.
Man, a little bit ripe yet.
Deer jaw.
What have we here?
The man was walking along his usual path in the woods, enjoying the quiet around him, when he noticed something strange on the ground. There, frozen in a bit of ice, was what looked like a jawbone. He bent down to look closer, wondering how it had ended up there. Curious, he decided to ask some experts about it. Before long, they told him it was a deer's jawbone. Nothing too unusual, but still an interesting find.
Alright, happy teeth.
Mummified Croc. In 2019, a team of archaeologists was exploring an ancient burial site at Kubbat al-Hawa on the Nile's western bank. They were looking for an old, untouched tomb when they found something surprising: a hidden collection of mummified crocodiles. When the researchers took a closer look, they noticed something unusual. These crocodiles didn't have the usual resin coating found on most mummies. Each one had been preserved in a slightly different way, without the thick layers. This lack of resin actually helped the scientists study the mummies better. It almost felt like they had found a real Sobek mummy, tied to the ancient Egyptian crocodile god. Real-life mermaid. This man was walking by a river when he spotted something unusual just beneath the surface. Curious, he leaned in closer. He saw a skeleton, but not just any skeleton. It had a human-like head and arms, yet its body was shaped like a fish with a long, flowing tail. It was an odd sight, leaving him wondering what exactly he had stumbled upon. He decided to film it and share the video online soon after. The clip quickly gained attention, with people sharing their own theories about what it might be. Some thought it could be a mermaid, while some believed it to be a creature from old legends. But even with all the guesses, no one could say for certain where it had come from or how it ended up there. Stucky. What would you do if, while cutting into a tree, you uncovered a hidden mystery? That's what a group of loggers from the Georgia Craft Corporation discovered. While cutting into the top of a big chestnut oak tree, they found a mummified hunting dog preserved inside the tree. Experts later explained that the dog had likely been trapped there for over 20 years. Somehow, the inside of the tree kept its body dry and preserved, leaving it in a lifelike position that showed what might have been its last moments. Today, this unusual find is kept at the Southern Forest World Museum in Waycross, Georgia, where people can see this surprising piece of nature's work.
Ew, that's his butt.
Alright, take a look.
Dinosaur Fossil.
We've been kind of looking for a few years now, well that's just me, but other people as well, for several decades for a specimen like this.
In October 2022, a group of paleontologists in northwest Queensland made an exciting discovery: Australia's first complete Elasmosaurus fossil, with both its head and body fully intact. This long-necked, flippered reptile lived over 100 million years ago, alongside the dinosaurs. Curious to learn more? The team turned to CT scans to get a closer look at the fossil, especially its jaws. With each scan, they uncovered new details, slowly piecing together how this giant marine reptile might have lived and moved in the oceans. It was a breakthrough moment as they got closer to unlocking the secrets of this ancient creature.
I actually found this fossil last year, so this year I had a very strong feeling to redig it.
Mammoth Skeleton.
It was an adult male,
probably in its 40s at the time of its death.
On Monday, a Michigan farmer named James Bristle was working in his soy fields when he made an unexpected discovery: a nearly complete woolly mammoth skeleton. After experts examined it, they confirmed that it was a genuine find. It was the kind of discovery that sparks curiosity, like the kind of daydream many people have about finding fossils in their own backyard. And, as luck would have it, there was someone nearby who got to see the Mammoth Remains up close, sharing in the excitement of the find. The discovery was a rare and fascinating moment, but it left people wondering, how did this ancient creature end up so far from its natural home? And what other secrets might be hiding beneath the soil, waiting to be uncovered?
Part of one shoulder blade, actually part of the other shoulder blade too, one kneecap. Other than that one kneecap and the shoulder blades and pelvis, we have nothing of the forelimbs or hind limbs, no feet.
Ancient bones. A group of people were exploring a cave when they made an unexpected discovery: ancient bones scattered across the ground. Curious about what they had found, they contacted researchers who carefully examined the bones. Soon, the experts confirmed that they were the remains of a mammoth from ancient times. This discovery provided valuable insight into the creatures that once roamed the earth, showing that even in hidden places like caves, there are still traces of the past waiting to be uncovered. It was a reminder of how much history is still out there, waiting to be discovered. Dear bones.
Man, look at that.
Have you ever found something strange in the forest that made you wonder what it was? That's exactly what happened to a man who was taking a walk one day. While walking through the trees, he saw a giant bone on the ground. Not sure what it was, he decided to record a video and share it online to see if anyone could help him figure it out. People soon replied, telling him it was probably a deer's bone. Even though it wasn't as mysterious as he first thought, he couldn't help but wonder, how did such a big bone end up there?
Oh, guys.
Bones near shore.
That's a hip muscle. Nope.
Walking along the shore usually brings to mind finding beautiful shells or smooth stones. But for one man, it led to something much stranger. As he walked, he noticed several bones scattered across the beach. Surprised and unsure of what they were, he stopped to take a closer look. He shared his discovery with others, and people soon suggested that the bones could be from a sea lion. The strange find left him with a sense of curiosity about what other unusual things the beach might be hiding, waiting to be uncovered. Cape Cod Shark. In 2023, something unusual caught the attention of people online when a frozen shark washed up on a Cape Cod beach. The discovery sparked interest across social media, with many sharing a photo of the strange sight. The shark, a poor beagle, had been preserved by the ice, making it look almost as if it had been frozen in time. It was a mysterious scene, as the shark had somehow ended up on the shore, frozen and trapped in the cold. The image of the shark quickly spread, leaving people curious about how it had ended up there, and what story it might tell about the hidden forces of nature. Big John. In 2014, while exploring a ranch in Perkins County, South Dakota, an archaeologist made a surprising discovery. As he examined a set of bones covered in roots from an eroding hillside, he noticed the weathered horns of a large triceratops. It was clear he had stumbled upon something significant. As the founder of Paleo Adventures, a firm specializing in fossil excavation, he nicknamed the fossil Big John after the ranch owner. Finally, in 2020, he decided to sell the fossil to an Italian firm, who then prepared it for auction. My research shows that the Triceratop is now under the observation of Italian authorities, but the exact details could not be found. Woolly mammoth.
Oh my goodness.
The Yucca mammoth, discovered in Siberia in 2010, is one of the best preserved woolly mammoths ever found. This juvenile female mammoth lived around 34,000 years ago during the late Ice Age and was likely preserved in permafrost, which helped keep it nearly intact. Found by local tusk hunters, the mammoth was stored in natural refrigeration until it was studied by experts. The mammoth's remains, including its fur and tusks, have been carefully analyzed, with some researchers even attempting to study the tissue for potential scientific breakthroughs. The mammoth is now displayed in Moscow, where it draws attention as an exceptional specimen of Ice Age life.
Around there, yeah?
That fur's really long.
Lion in ice.
The Ice Age may have ended thousands of years ago, but many of its secrets are just now coming to the surface.
In the Siberian Arctic, researchers made an incredible discovery: the frozen remains of a cave lion cub, so well preserved it looked like it was simply sleeping. The golden fur, though covered in mud, was mostly intact. After 28,000 years, its teeth, skin, and organs were still in place, offering a rare glimpse into the past. Found by mammoth tusk hunters in 2017 and 2018 along the Semenyak River, the cub, named Sparta, was one of 2 baby cave lions uncovered in the region. Despite the centuries that had passed, the cub's claws were sharp enough to prick the finger of a scientist examining it. This remarkable find of an extinct species gives us a rare chance to learn about these ancient animals. Orange County remains.
I just don't know what they're thinking to dump this in such a public space where people walk their animals.
Recently, locals in Orange County started noticing something strange: animal remains scattered across different parts of the area. It was unsettling for many residents who couldn't understand how they ended up there. The authorities were notified and began looking into the situation, trying to figure out where the remains came from and how they ended up in such random spots. Despite their investigations, no answers have surfaced yet. The mystery continues, leaving the community wondering what caused this unusual sight and whether there's something they've yet to uncover.
Get these remains out of here. The Department of Health actually says it's up to the property owners to remove them. We're already pressing Fifth Third's bank to find out when that might happen.
Mysterious creature washed up.
Mystery creature washes up on a South Georgia beach and it has everyone scratching their head.
A video from South Georgia Beach recently surfaced online, and it's got people asking, could this be another glimpse of the mysterious creatures like the Loch Ness Monster? The strange creature washed up on the shore, and at first glance, it looked like a seal. But as people got closer, it was clear this was no ordinary animal. With its 4 to 5 feet long body and unusual fins, it didn't resemble anything anyone had seen before. Could it be a lost relic from ancient times, like the legendary Loch Ness Monster?
A lot of marine experts to ask about what this creature is, but so far, nothing definitive.
Four-legged snake. Ever wondered what the ancient ancestor of snakes looked like? In Brazil's Crato Formation, scientists uncovered a fascinating creature that lived around 146 to 100 million years ago during the early Cretaceous period. It had many features we still see in modern snakes, like a short snout, a long body, scales, fanged teeth, and a flexible jaw to swallow large prey. What set Tetrapodophis apart was its 4 limbs, each with 5 digits. Unlike snakes today, these limbs weren't used for movement, but for grasping prey or possibly during mating. Its short tail also suggested it wasn't an aquatic creature, supporting the idea that snakes didn't evolve from sea animals. This discovery gives scientists a clearer picture of how snakes might have evolved over time. Unknown bone.
What the heck? Dude, I couldn't even tell. That's not a fish.
A group of friends were out walking in the forest, enjoying the quiet of the trees. As they wandered along, one of them noticed something unusual on the ground, a strange bone. They picked it up and looked it over, but no one could figure out what it belonged to. A similar bone was found at a distance in the same area by another man. This second bone was very similar to the first, which made them start to wonder about the strange find. Why were the bones there, and what could they have come from? Some even started to wonder if it could be the remains of a creature they hadn't seen before. Something far from ordinary.
This might be some part of a deer. Like the tailbone or something.
Bones in woods.
This little space here to get to them.
While walking through the forest, a man noticed something strange on the ground. Animal bones scattered across the path. The bones seemed to belong to a larger animal, but he wasn't sure what kind. He picked up a few, looked at them for a moment, but couldn't make out any clear markings to tell him more. As he walked a little further, he came across more bones, leading him to wonder how they all ended up in the forest. It left him wondering if there was more to this story, perhaps something about this spot that nature had hidden away for a long time.
We've got 3 skulls.
Fossilized bones.
I will also give everyone a chance in the back that would like to see them.
At the bottom of the moaning cavern, researchers found fossilized bones of animals that had fallen into the cave a long time ago. The bones were preserved in the cave's cool, dark environment. These animals likely fell into the cavern by accident, and over time, their remains turned into fossils. The discovery showed that the cavern had trapped animals for many years. It helped scientists learn more about the kinds of creatures that lived in the area long ago, offering a peek into a past that had been hidden deep inside the cave.
Give everyone a chance in the back that would like to see them as well.
So, like, how old were they?
Fauna skeleton. In a hidden submerged cave, a stunning discovery was made. Bones from long-extinct megafauna that once roamed the earth. These massive creatures, including mammoths and saber-toothed cats, had somehow ended up trapped in the cave thousands of years ago. Over the centuries, the cave flooded, preserving their bones underwater, offering scientists a rare glimpse into the past. As explorers carefully uncovered the remains, they realized that these bones were not just fossils, but time capsules holding secrets about the creatures that lived during the Ice Age. Each bone told a story of survival, of giant animals that had wandered into the cave, never to find their way out. Mine surprise.
These are very big. They must be cows, sheep bones also.
A group of explorers was asked to check out an old mine, thinking it would be an easy task. However, as they moved deeper into the dark tunnels, they came across something unexpected. The ground was scattered with ancient animal bones. Some were large, others smaller, but all were well worn by time. The explorers were puzzled about how these bones had ended up in the mine. It was clear that the area had once been a resting place for long-gone creatures, but the mystery of how they got there remained unsolved.
They come from above.
Yeah.
Ancient animals. While exploring an old attic, this man discovered something puzzling. An animal skeleton neatly arranged in place, as though carefully placed there long ago. What's strange is that it didn't belong to any known creature. Despite the clear signs of age, there were no immediate clues to identify what animal they came from. The mystery deepened. What could these bones belong to? Were they part of an unknown or rare creature? Or perhaps something even more mysterious? Fossilized Sea Dragon.
Hang on, that looks different. There's something there that's different. And it had organic features on, almost like where it connects onto the rib.
Sea dragons have always been a mystery, but a recent discovery might make you think they were real. In February 2021, while working on a routine draining project at Rutland Water Nature Reserve, a team member noticed something strange. At first, it looked like clay pipes sticking out of the mud, but as they took a closer look, it became clear that it was something much more unusual. Vertebrae with a jawbone at the end. Curious, the team continued digging and uncovered a nearly complete fossil. It turned out to be an ichthyosaur, a dolphin-like marine reptile. The fossil was 33 feet long and 180 million years old, with a skull measuring over 6.5 feet. How did it end up so perfectly preserved? The mystery still lingers.
Dinosaur skeleton ever found, the biggest one ever found here in the UK.
Elasmosaur unearthed.
Scientists have unearthed a 100-million-year-old dinosaur fossil.
A 100-million-year-old fossil discovered in Australia has been causing quite a stir online. In Western Queensland, fossil hunters made an incredible find. The first ever Elasmosaurus fossil in Australia. This long-necked marine reptile lived during the Cretaceous period, alongside the dinosaurs, and its head and body bones were uncovered by 3 enthusiasts exploring their privately owned outback station. what makes this discovery even more exciting? It's the first of its kind in Australia, and now it's part of the Queensland Museum's growing collection of ancient marine creatures. What other secrets are still hidden beneath Australian soil? Ancient Roman sculptures. A group of archaeologists recently unearthed a trio of ancient Roman sculptures beneath a medieval church in England. These sculptures, depicting a man, a woman, and a child, were found during the final stages of excavation at St. Mary's Church in Stoke Mandeville. The church, built around 1080 CE and demolished in the mid-20th century, was situated on a site with a fascinating history. Originally a Bronze Age burial ground, it was later replaced by a Roman mausoleum before becoming the Norman church. Discovering these exceptionally well-preserved sculptures offers a rare glimpse into the past, making this find a truly once-in-a-lifetime moment. Grave with stork beaks. In 2018, 2 unusual graves were discovered in Siberia, sparking intrigue about their origins. One of the most surprising aspects of the find was the 50 stork beaks carefully placed near one of the graves. Why stork beaks? What could their significance be? Were they part of a ritual costume, or did they symbolize something deeper? The discovery left researchers puzzled, raising questions about the meaning behind these beaks and their connection to ancient spiritual practices. Ancient giant. Back in 2017, archaeologists in Thailand uncovered something truly surprising. A giant skeleton lying next to the remains of a huge snake. The size of the skeleton was far larger than an average human, hinting that it belonged to a towering figure that must have been impressive in life. This discovery instantly grabbed people's attention. The sight of the enormous skeleton with the snake sparked questions about what kind of creatures might have roamed the region long ago. For both researchers and the public, the find brought to life stories and legends about ancient giants, leaving everyone to wonder about what other mysteries might be waiting beneath the earth. And now, let's move on to our subscribers' pick.
What is that thing?
While exploring an area in Antarctica, a man was walking carefully over the ice, curious about what he might find. As he moved along, he noticed something strange beneath the ice. At first, he wasn't sure what it was, but when he looked closer, he saw that it was a giant shark, frozen in the ice.
That is a shark! Can you see it? Guys.
It was a surprising sight, something he never expected to find so far from the ocean. The shark trapped in the ice seemed to hold a mysterious story, leaving him amazed by the hidden wonders of the frozen land. And with that, see you next time.